Folks, I got a video there a moment ago. It got blocked there. It was called Lucifer the Fallen Star, and they blocked it on me. They said it was a copyright strike. That's what they said. But anyway, I want to talk to you guys there some about chemical mixtures. And this whole thing about chemical mixtures, this is going to be about the good old one-liner, if you know what I'm saying. I ain't saying much. But I want to show you something here. If you take the inactive ingredients, okay, ingredients, of potassium chloride, which is a salt, okay, and monobasic potassium, that's another salt. Sodium chloride. All inactive ingredients, folks. Dibasic sodium phosphate dihydrate. Sodium phosphate dihydrate. Okay? There's 4 different types of salts, as you can plainly see. Now, if you take that and you add table sugar, which is another inactive ingredient, okay? Now, if you don't believe me on what I'm about ready to tell you here in a minute, you can go to I can't show it here, https://www.jobassist.us. Okay? And what that's going to do is that's going to show you this metal ingredient that I'm going to show you that's added into this. This is an old Persian formula, folks, that I'm going to show you, and it only adds up to some of the things that I have said before. Now, a lot of people aren't going to believe me on this because I'm just an ordinary guy that just, you know, what do I know, right? But I assure you I know plenty. If you take these 4 inactive ingredient salts, okay, the 4 salts, and this sugar helps form a spike. Now, if you mix that with Neptunium 93, on the periodic table, and you combine that from being chilled under cold circumstances, I'm talking about like being in a cold refrigerator or cold sterile state, what will happen is this. When it heats up to 98.5 degrees, okay, you are going to get a spike off the sugar and the Neptunium that solidifies, that pierces cells, and I'm talking DNA cells. And so what happens is this: the DNA cells get pierced, and you may say, well, Jerry, nobody really has ever died from that yet that we know of sure. Well, it has to have time to manifest itself, and let me explain what I'm trying to tell you. What you have to have is, and this is an old Persian formula, and it's clearless, colorless, odorless, and it can't be proven. Okay? But what happens is this. You take a given period of time, it could be 6 months, it could be 7, it could be 9, depending on how solid the natural Neptunium ingredient is. What it's going to do is, this Neptunium-93 mixed with this salt and this sugar at a 98.5 degree Celsius rate, once that it gets into water and it warms up, what it is basically like this. Let me try to explain it in layman's terms. It's like taking nails, okay? And it's like adding it into a bucket of water. Well, when you first do that, that bucket of water with those nails in it simply looks like nails with a bucket of water. But over a period of time, depending on the tensile strength of those nails and the temperature, which plays a factor in corrosion, and the water, which water is pretty much water, but what I'm trying to say is all those ingredients of temperature, time, moisture, and metal is going to manifest what? It's going to manifest rust. And depending on the different variables of temperature and time and whatever have you, that's what's going to consider, or that's going to be what manifests the rust. Well, the same concept behind these 4 salts with this sugar and this Neptunium-93, once it takes a pierce or a spike into a cell, or a DNA cell, what it does is it manifests a byproduct, is what it does. It really does, and it's a bacteria. It's a form of bacteria. It's a form of corrosion in its own right. And when it hits a 98.5 degree warm body, that's when the process starts. And depending on how solid that the metal base is and all that stuff, and the consistent temperature which stays consistent and everything else, that all depends on how long that it takes to manifest what it manifests. And this byproduct, just like the rust comes off of the nails, this bacterial byproduct corrosion manifests into this. And you know what that is, folks? It's an old Persian formula that the aristocracy used to poison one another in old days. That's what it is, guys. And of course, you guys know about the Aleister Crowley thing that I have to say there. Isn't it awfully amazing that when it comes to Aleister Crowley, well, this whole thing right here matches up perfect with him. Because why? He was a what? And the 93 that you have for Neptunium matches up perfect to what? This is a spiritual thing too, folks. Thelema. So you see the 33 and the 93, it all matches up. But over time, this is what it creates. And I'm going to tell you this much, this kind of same thing was used with the Desert Storm veterans. And 94.1% of them are dead. And they're going to say it's the Gulf War syndrome. And no, it was the good old anthrax jab there that did that. So, and it's the same thing as this. So you can either believe me or not believe me, but there's going to be a time come, and once this byproduct comes off of this solidified spike off of these salts, this right here is going to be manifested. And it may take 8 months, it may take 9 months, it may take 6 months. But that's what it's going to cut, that's what it's going to derive to be. I promise you, folks. Clearless, odorless, colorless, you can't tell how that it done anything. It's just going to simply be something like, well, you know, a bunch of people just fell over. For some reason besides this. And I'm telling you right now, this is how positive I am on what I'm telling you about this. About 100%. Because all the numbers and everything match up. They really do. And the whole thing with the AS33 and the Neptunium-93, it all matches up. Because I know this is his plan, and this is his plot, good old Crowley. And so you can either take me for what I'm telling you or not. But now you know. You can either choose to believe it or not. And how long this is going to take to do this, I have no idea. It's got to start producing the byproduct first. The rust, if you will, that comes off of it. And that's the real poison, isn't it? And that takes time. It takes temperature. It takes time. It takes a metal base. It takes a group of salts. All to come together, and the time is based upon many different variables. So, you can either choose to believe that or not, but I've showed you, so now you know. Thank you for watching this video. And how certain am I of what I'm saying? About 100%, okay?